Hi everyone, Mitch from sportschatplace.com and picksandparlays.net. Of course, we are here every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, thereabouts. Today we're a little bit late. I was on a call. As you guys know, this is, I don't know, everybody wants to do something with us, but I have to field those calls. Sometimes they run a little long, and that's why I always say, sign up for those notifications on our YouTube channel. This way you get notified exactly when we go live. Of course, we do at least 3 free picks every single day. And when I say 3 free picks, usually it's a heck of a lot more than just 3 free picks. But, of course, we do them every single day. No excuses, just free picks. Good morning to everyone. Everyone always says, how did we do yesterday or whatever. Let me see if I can find yesterday's sheet. Anyone know? Brian was on our show yesterday, and he did a bunch of picks. I just don't remember what they were. Oh well, I'll find the sheet at some point. Oh, here it is. I threw it. Remember at the end of the show, I did have Washington. I know that. So I had Washington. Right or wrong. Brian of the Thunder, USC. I had Xavier. Green Bay won outright as a 3.5-point dog. We had that one. We had Murray State. Pacific plus 23. And the Pacers minus 3.5. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 3. 6 and 3 yesterday. So people ask that all the time. There's your answer. But anyways, we do at least 3 free picks on this show every single day. Our best bet's always on sportschatexperts.com, picksandparlays.net as well. So, I say 3 free picks, but usually it's a heck of a lot more. This show is simulcast. Yeah, we have a guy here who gets to pick games after they're over. What we have is an idiot on here. We're not even going to acknowledge him. It's just another troll that comes and visits our show because they have no life and nothing better to do. But we're not going to really talk about them. What we're going to talk about is the 3 free picks we're going to do. Bryce Harper signing with the Phillies in sports news. I don't know. We talk about baseball salaries a lot on this show. We talk about it a ton, right? And, Bryce Harper getting that kind of money. I don't know. He batted .249 last year. He had 169 strikeouts at $15,000 or even at $5,000 in a bat. It's a lot of. It's $1 million plus worth of strikeouts. Yep, I am 100% in picking games after they are over. Never have lost. I know there's some people that love to give out picks after they're over. They come on our show all the time, leave comments about how they did yesterday. Yeah, I think it's 13 years is a bad deal for the Phillies. There's a reason why he didn't take the $180 million or whatever over 4 years from the Dodgers. It was or 6 years. It was significantly more money. Jason Witten out of retirement. Woo! We got him out of the booth on Monday Night Football. Whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. That egomaniac. I mean, he's the worst announcer out there. The worst. We bashed him all season long on Monday Night Football. And that is a very good thing. But anyways, we do at least 3 free picks on this show. Our best bet's always over at sportschatexperts.com. When I say 3 free picks, it's usually a heck of a lot more that we do. Of course, this show is on a lot of channels now. We started a little bit late today, so I know we have a late crowd joining us. So, of course, we had Brian Bittler on the show yesterday. We'll probably have Brian back next week. I'm thinking like maybe Wednesday when there's a lot of games, or Tuesday or Wednesday. You know, Wednesday is always a big day for NBA. It's always a big day for college basketball. Of course, Monday, March Madness starts. But let's just get right into a free pick, and we'll get the show rolling. Of course, it is March 1st. It means March and the madness. Of course, we're going to take the Milwaukee Bucks minus 4.5 against the Lakers. This is our layup of today's thing. People always ask me, what's a lock? What's your best play? What's all that stuff? I'll tell you, I like the Bucks minus 4.5. They're gonna beat the Lakers in this one. Lakers terrible. It almost looks too easy. Yeah, yesterday I went to the doctor. I got the springs removed from my face. So I am feeling way better than I have in quite some time. And I'm allowed to get back in the water and go surfing and all kinds of good stuff. So it's been 3 weeks since I've been surfing. And man, I'm ready. I'm about as ready as you get. But also ready to get on some more winners. Yeah, Bryce Harper's young, so 13 years really isn't a ridiculous contract, but it is a long, long time. Let's do another free pick. We'll talk some more after that. We got the Celtics laying 8.5 here against the Wizards. The Wizards is 4-6 in their last 10 against the number, 3-7 straight up. But the Celtics really struggling, 4-6 in their last 10 games, but 23-9 at home this season, 37-25 overall. Man, I would have thought that the Celtics, after LeBron left Cleveland, they were shoo-in for the number 1 overall seed in the East. They're not even close to being the number 1 overall seed in the East. But we'll look at the standings real quick while I'm talking about this, instead of just woofing out stuff. But these Celtics are sitting in the 5th spot. If the season ended today, they would play the 76ers in the first round, and the Sixers would have the home court in that. So the Celtics in the bottom half of that, they're 5 games ahead of the Nets and 3 behind the Sixers, 4 behind the Pacers. So, I mean, really, in the best case scenario for the Celtics, they're going to get up to the 3 seed if they can get moving, and if the Pacers and Sixers falter a little bit. Of course, with Embiid out, that helps them. But the problem that they have here, of course, is that 3 of those games are in the loss column. But they have not been looking good. But one thing that we know, Celtics have been a resilient team, and we saw it in the playoffs last season. I like the Celtics in this one. I just hate the way the Wizards are playing. They're so inconsistent. I'm going to take the Celtics and lay the points at home. Yeah, it is a bad chemistry. They have a lot of talent on that team, but you're right. It's just bad chemistry. Of course, the Baylor defensive end, that big rape scene that, everybody went down at Baylor. Art Briles still can't get a job. Any of all of those things going on, but he was acquitted. So I don't know what the real story was on that or how it really goes down. It's really none of our business. But I always say where there's smoke, there's fire. Just not a good scene all the way around. Let's do another NBA pick while we're here. And we will go to, let's see. I'll take the Phoenix Suns here, getting 5.5 at home. The Suns have been dreadful. They haven't won. They've won 1 game in about the last 100 years. Of course, they drafted first last year. They're setting themselves up to draft very high this year. It's weird because if you draft high in the NBA this year, it's almost like you're expected to take Zion Williamson with the first overall pick. He's a good player. He's a really good player. He's a really strong player. And at the beginning of the season, I certainly agreed with most people thinking that he was the best player out there. But man, it's like, since those games against Army and teams like that, he has not been as strong. And of course, he's been injured lately and hasn't played at all. But you could see just Duke, not quite the same team without him. But anyways, back to the Suns here. Getting 5.5 at home. You got a home dog, and in the NBA this past week, the dogs have been absolutely chewing them up and spitting them out. I'm I'm going to take the Suns plus the 5.5 points, and that'll be our third pick for today's show. Of course, we do at least 3 free picks. Our best bet's always over at sportschatexperts.com. Yeah, I think, to me, there are guys that have a more well-rounded game than Zion Williamson. He is a talent. You can't coach, the size and strength that he has. That has to be just a natural ability that you're given. But, some of these other guys just have some amazing skill sets too. I think that, as Murray State was one of our picks yesterday, and Morant, once again tearing it up. I just think that, he's a guy that you have to consider in that top, few picks as well. I think Barrett on Duke as well is another really, really strong player. There's a lot of strong players out there. Who are we kidding? But, if you're going to go number 1 overall, boy, you got to make sure, because that can really change a franchise. You got to remember the Greg Oden number 1 overall pick and Kevin Durant going second in that draft. You got to remember, Michael Jordan going 3, Sam Bowie going 2, there's just a lot of tough drafting, and of course that Carmelo Anthony LeBron James draft with Dwayne Wade, and the Darko pick there by the Pistons, really setting that organization back a very, very, very long time when, there was more superstars in the top 3 or 4 picks in that draft than really, Chris Bosh was in that draft, than really most NBA drafts of all time, right? So, anyways, let's get to some college hoops. We're at that time. It is March, and that means the madness. So, some teams like the West Coast Conference, so like Gonzaga yesterday when they played that game against Pacific, that was their second to last game of the regular season. Their season ends, and then they go into the conference tournament out in Vegas. So something to remember that we are at that time of the season, and of course, where teams are in the brackets, that is going to be a factor, for just who's motivated and just how motivated some of these teams are going to be. Of course, it's still been the home dogs. Todd Bowles saying that Barrett has all the skills plus the head on his shoulders. I agree with that as well. I don't think his outside shot is good enough, though. It's like it has to, in order to, with his game, his outside shot kind of has to be better than what it is. And that's just the only thing that I have about Barrett. I mean, none of the Duke guys really can shoot from the outside. That's, their issue. But anyways, looking at the brackets, I think that's something that we'll start to talk about a little more maybe on Monday. But, some of these teams that are definitely in, not making a lot of sense. Some of these seedings, it's just the whole new system. I mean, is Florida State really a 5 seed? I mean, are they really, are they really a 5? Is Louisville really a 7 at this point? Syracuse an 8. I don't know. It just seems, is Virginia Tech a 5 and Kansas State a 6? I kind of like Kansas State if they were playing Virginia Tech personally. But speaking of today's games, let's get right back into it. Quinnipiac taking on St. Peter's. The Peacocks 8-20 coming into this one, 4-7 at home. Quinnipiac 15-12, 8-5 straight up on the road, 10-3 against the number. They have been a dominant team against the number as well. 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. Adam is saying you can make Syracuse any seed you want. They will make a run. I 100% agree with you on that. They could even be the play-in team, and you could pretty much circle that they're going to give some teams fits because that zone in tournament-style play just crushes teams. But as far as St. Peter's goes, they've won their last 2 games, beating Niagara and Marist. They've lost a bunch in a row before that game, including losing 77-58 at Quinnipiac back on January 27th. When we look at Quinnipiac, they had won 3 in a row, and then they've been on the lose one, win one type string. And right now they're on the win one, so it would lean to the lose one. But they've been a dog in their last 3 games, and really they've been a dog in 8 of their last 10 games, but they managed to win often as the dog, more often than not. Meanwhile, on the other side of this thing, St. Peter's hasn't done a heck of a lot. The issue here for St. Peter's is they can't score points, and when you can't score, that's always an issue. Quinnipiac gives up a ton of points, but not as bad as the offensive differential. It's a lean to Quinnipiac here, plus we're laying a point with this one. So we'll take Quinnipiac -1. That'll be our 4th pick for today's show. We do at least 3 free picks every single day. Usually a ton more than that. Usually at least twice that many, right? But anyways, there's a lot going on in the world of sports as we head in. Yeah, the Warriors suck without Kevin Durant, but it's hard to cry a tear for a team that has Seth Curry. It's hard to cry a tear for a team that has Klay Thompson, that Draymond Green. They had all these guys. They won a championship without Kevin Durant. So how can you say that one player on a team full of MVPs and superstars, Cousins, right? This was without Cousins too. How can you say that's an excuse, missing one player? I know it's Kevin Durant, but they won before they had him. It's not like they have a bunch of slouches. I think what people are, what I hear, and I say people, and I don't mean you guys and everybody. I mean, things that I've heard people say about this situation is that when they signed Boogie Cousins, that probably eliminated 2 or 3 other role players that they could have gotten to increase their depth. And I think that there's something to be said about that, especially when Boogie wasn't playing. But, but he is playing, and he's a great player. In most teams, he would be one of the top players on the team. So, I think, when you look at Steve Kerr, maybe he has had cruise control has had the team in cruise control for too long. And maybe that's what, needs to be reevaluated here is that, Steve Kerr, having the team in cruise control, he hasn't really had to coach like he has this year. And I think he's a great coach, and I think all those things. I think he needs to get back into coaching, though. I think, he just needs to become a coach again instead of letting the players run the ship. The best coaches, even the players' coaches out there in any sport, are guys that coach. And it's like, I understand you guys are superstars. I understand I promised you this. I understand I said this. And I understand things have been run this way. But at the same time, if you want to win, this is how we're going to do it, my way. Because I'll tell you one thing. They're not going to fire Curry, Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Boogie, Iguodala. They're not going to fire these guys. They're going to fire the coach, is what happens in these situations. And it's tough to fire a coach that's won that many championships. So it really, it's big problems. It's like, if the Lakers wanted to fire Pat Riley when the Celtics used to beat him up. But anyways, let's get to another free pick here. I think an interesting discussion here on the Warriors. And, it's at the end of the day, the best chance for the Nuggets in the West is going to be, that was Brian's call on Pacific yesterday. That was Brian's call that he nailed Pacific. I just agreed with them. But, the Warriors just a half a game lead here on the Nuggets, and they're even in the loss column. Meanwhile, the Thunder and the Blazers are only 4 games behind them, with about 20 games left to go in the regular season. Let's get to another free pick, though, and some college hoops. Siena taking on Canisius, and I know that we've gotten into that pronunciation of Canisius a bunch of different times. I've heard some people wrote in the comments that they pronounce it Canisius, and then I had other people that say, I went to Canisius, and that's not how it's pronounced. But anyways, let's get to this game, and what we see is that the road team definitely has the numbers coming in here. Siena 15-14 on the season, while Canisius 13-16. Meanwhile, just 5-5 in their last 10. Siena playing the better basketball, 7-3. When we look against the numbers, Siena 6-4. The number here that I think is the most important to me is that Siena plays well on the road, and I like Siena. I mean, yeah, I like Siena in this one. We're getting 1.5. So the line looks fishy, but not fishy enough to keep me off of it. Of course, we do at least 3 free picks every single day. We'll do another one in just a second. Someone asked where the Vermont shirt was. I still have it right here. I got to send it back and get a color that doesn't wash me out. I want to get green, I think. Call the bookstore. But I do like it. It's a super nice shirt, and I really appreciate it. Speaking of shirts, I'm in contact with our shirt guy, and we are going to have these things by March Madness. So I'll be excited to be giving those out on the show. Don't rate me now because I don't have anything to give out, and we'll have parameters on basically which social media channels or things you can do. Some people say they don't have Facebook or anything like that. I've actually come up with some strategies where we can kind of incorporate other things as well, where maybe you don't need to have Facebook. If you could do Twitter and YouTube sharing our videos and things of that nature, and that could give you the credit. But anyways, Jeff is saying I still get the credit. It's my show, but it's really not my show. It's our show. It's all of us, and except for the trolls that come in and do it. Anyways, if you're watching our show, if you could hit the thumbs up, greatly appreciated. No matter where you're watching it, costs you nothing, takes you 0 seconds to do it, but helps us a ton. We're going to give out one more free pick here. We got Monmouth getting 1 on the road against Manhattan. 10-20, Monmouth just 4-11 straight up, 6-9 against the number on the road. But Manhattan just 4-8 at home this season, 6-6 against the number, 6-4 against the spread in the last 10 games. The Jaspers, I don't know, I really like that nickname. I don't know what it means, but the Jaspers have lost their last 2 games. Won their 2 previous ones at Canisius and in Niagara, but they've played 3 of their last 4 on the road. Meanwhile, Monmouth has lost their last 4, 1-point loss at home against Canisius, an 8-point loss to Marist at home, and of course Quinnipiac, who no one else can seem to get the handle on, also getting it done. One of those games where Monmouth has the better offense, but Manhattan the much, much better defense. You guys know I love defense. I say it every day, and I will say it again. I'm going to take Monmouth here as the road dog, mild road dog. And that'll be our last pick for today's show. You guys remember that tomorrow is Free-for-All Saturday, meaning all of the picks on our show will come from your questions. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that's where I take the bulk of the questions these days is from our YouTube channel, either the Sports Chat Play, Sports Chat Experts. Oh, I see you. We got an asshole. Oh man, let's see how we get rid of this guy. Anyways, I'm going to recap today's show. I'm going to ban this Sean Uhas from our site. Let's see. Oh man, how do I get to here? But anyways, let's just recap. We took the Bucks minus 4.5, the Celtics minus 8.5, the Suns plus 5.5, Quinnipiac minus 1, Siena plus 1.5, Monmouth plus 1. You guys can hit the thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. This is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Free for All Saturday.